First up, I would like to allow the players the opportunity to introduce who they are and who they will be playing. So, as usual, we'll go to the glassing-wearing Studley.
Hello, I'm Chugworker. I play a character called Stanley Lovely, but he's known in the group as Studley. He's a mage. He's in his late 40s, receding hair, slightly overweight, lives at home with his mom, where he is desperately trying to make some money to pay for her ongoing medical expenses. Not going too well at the moment. He seems to be losing more money than he's actually making over the last few months, but hopefully things are going to change. And I'll put you on to now Longshanks EPG.
Can I just say that I came in halfway, I put my headphones back on and you said overweight and receding haircut, and I thought you were talking about me while I was away, and I just came into the tail
I was
end.
actually, yeah.
Yeah, Longshanks EPG.
Hi guys, I'm Longshanks EPG. I'm playing the gunslinging adept elf of the party called Hector. Almost got the wrong name then. And as I revealed to some of the other characters, because I didn't realise, he's actually allergic to plastic. So we shall see how that impacts stuff further on.
But does that impact on the game at all?
I mean, if he comes into contact with it, then he has negative effects. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all right, because
if he comes into contact,
I've put it into negative effects twice so far.
Yeah, I know. I noticed.
Yeah, and Billy Bob.
I am Big Beastie, and I am.
You're very quiet, Big Beastie.
Turn your mic up, Big.
Yeah, turn your mic up, Big.
I haven't turned it up anymore.
Bring it closer to your face.
I better. I am playing Billy Bob, the smooth-talking, moonwalking, knife-wielding, sexy orc tank of the group.
Sorry, are you playing the same character as you play?
Always.
Excellent. So we're without. I've just lost something. Oh, I've lost it. No, it's back.
Marbles.
Marbles, yeah. I lost them ages ago. You're muted, so you can't say anything now. So, anyway, without further ado, here is the introduction to Shadow. Hang on. Yes, I'm back. Yeah, I pressed the wrong thing. Don't worry. Hang on. I'll just turn you guys on. There you go. Right, you're all on. Hello. Everybody is up and running. Okay, let me give you a brief synopsis of what has happened so far. The party has been summoned to a street dog called Ida, who has revealed to them a rather decaying body from which she had taken a blood sample. The sample was actually identified at that point as ID459. And the party were asked to actually identify this, what it was and where it came from, and get as much information as they possibly can. Their first port of call was Dr. Jekyll's house, where they went away, and after bringing him, saving him from a group of gangers who were sort of like being nasty to him in a car. I actually managed to take him up to the apartment. However, they were ambushed by a group of ghoul-like creatures that burst through the windows. Sadly, Dr. Jekyll was actually injured by this group, and after he had actually looked and given the party some information about ID456, it became apparent that he was actually succumbing to the virus that the guy in Ida's clinic had succumbed to. But he managed to give some pieces of information to the group. One of them was something to do with an institute called the
medical recreation.
Yeah, medical recreation, which Studley bravely phoned on their comm. It was a little ID card that they found, and got a nice woman at the end who just kept saying medical recreation, and then when nothing came through, she just proclaimed that they had the wrong number and cut them off. The other thing that they found was the address for a shaman called Bart Smith, and at the end of the last adventure they headed off to Bart's house. The party arrived, and after knocking on the door, they entered, and they found Shaman Bart sat within what appeared to be a protective circle on the floor, with a little imp frantically trying to get at or into the circle. Bart Smith proclaimed that the party should help him with Tiny, and Billy Bob needed no other excuse and bowled his way in and grabbed the little imp, only to discover at that point that the shaman said, "Not that Tiny, the other Tiny." And at that point, through the door burst a rather big gorilla. So I'm just going to move you over, guys, to the map. We've still got initiative up from last adventure. You should be able to see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just as we arrived, if you remember, the gorilla arrived, and the action that he was doing, he burst through the door and ran up to you, Billy Bob, and reached out to grab you, just in the same way as you had reached out to grab the imp. And that was his action that he was going to do. And so we will start there, and then we are going onto the initiative. And I think at that point you're going to be reducing it. I think you've already reduced it by 10.
10, yeah.
Yeah, so I presume what we'll be doing then is rolling new initiative.
I can't remember, but
I think that's probably
Yeah.
what we'll be doing. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is my gorilla. This is Tiny's role. That is coming in next. So he's going to reach out and try to grab you. So he's going to use his normal unarmed combat skill in order to almost like subdue you. That's basically what they're doing here. So in order to subdue, you don't put your strength bonus on it. You just roll your normal unarmed combat skill, and then I'm going to compare. I'm going to try to hit you with that, and then I'm going to compare my strength and my net hit to your physical limit. And if I succeed, then you are grappled. So as usual, you do get the option here to dodge this as usual. Okay. So remember, just out of interest, I'll be interested in what you think about this, Chugglebugger. It says, to subdue a character, resolve melee combat normally using an unarmed combat skill. Does that mean I get my strength added to it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay then. So I don't need to roll that. That's cool. Okay then. It's going to come up as claw and bite, but it is his unarmed combat skill.
Right.
Okay, so I've got 4 successes. So dodge away.
Reach, dodge, duck, dive, dash, dodge, damn.
Okay, so I've actually hit. So I need to the strength of Tiny is 5 plus my net success is 1, so that's 6. So what is your physical limit?
My strength.
No, your physical
your
limit.
physical
sorry,
limit,
yeah,
which
yeah,
is
10.
just above your damage tracks.
Yeah, it's 10.
10. So he reaches out to try to grab you in order to pick you up, because remember you've got hold of Tiny, the imp at the moment, and the gorilla sort of like reaches out to try to pick you up with both hands and lift you off the ground, but even though it does get its huge arms around you, you manage to sort of like wriggle free, and you're sort of like stood before it now, and the gorilla lets out an almighty roar. Okay, so we're now going into full-time initiative, guys. So if you'd like to roll your initiative.
Nice to meet you, Tiny. Damn.
Wow, it's a nice one. Right, I was going. That's what I was just about to ask. That have you got the edge on?
No, but that's not right. Is it?
He rolled 515
plus 2.
I ain't got
What's
edge.
your?
I ain't got edge ticked.
Yeah, let's just have a look. So initiative is 11 plus 2d6s.
Oh, well, yeah.
So the 2d6s was 5 and a 6.
Yeah.
So the 5 and the 6 is 11, which adds up to 22. And the your initiative is your reaction. What's your initiative?
Reaction and intuition.
Yeah. So that's 6. And yeah, that's right. That's absolutely right. So so we're up at top of the round. So everybody's in place. So Billy Bob, you are up first.
Billy Bob's gonna, after he's just got grabbed and shrugged out of it, he's gonna look at him meanly and think to himself, oh, "What am I doing?" But he's gonna stand his ground and fight a gorilla. He's gonna fight a gorilla.
Cool.
So he's gonna. He's gonna eject his hand blade.
Oh, remember you still got hold of this little imp.
Right.
At the
Okay.
moment.
So he's gonna drop him then.
Yeah. So that'll just be a free action to drop the imp.
Yep. So and then he's gonna pop out his hand blade.
Cool. So you're going to ready that weapon. Excellent. And that'll be it. That's you done. So Hector, you're up.
So Hector, having run around to try and find a second entrance, not finding anything, he's going to carry on moving towards the front door as because he knows he can get in that way.
Cool.
So that's 10 meters. So yeah, he's going to move
I
there.
forgot you were running around the house.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So this is Gorilla's time to fight. So now, just to let you know, this is not this is not going to grab you now. He's actually swiping you with one of its claws.
Okay.
So this is a claw attack now. So you need to dodge first.
Oh, wrong one. Oh, wrong one.
2 successes on 12 dice. That's pretty
That's not very
rubbish.
good.
No.
Nice rubbish.
Yeah,
Is
so
everything going? Yeah, just make sure that your dices were working.
So he swipes at you, and you sort of like manage to dodge out the way, just dodge back as this thing, claw. And you do notice, Billy Bob, that the claw on the gorilla looks pretty elongated, almost like enhanced as it swipes back past your face. Studley, you're up.
Okay, not having chance to look at this thing in the astral, Studley is going to cast a spell, and he's going to try to erect a mana barrier around it.
Okay, cool. Go for it.
And he's
I need
casting
force,
this
and then
force 6.
Force 6. Go for it. Yeah, so that's absolutely fine. That comes up. So let's get your barrier up, shall we?
He wants to try to just encase it, sort of like maybe a foot. Well, it's probably going to be more than a foot, but
how big can it actually be?
I think it can be pretty big, to be honest with you. I had a look to see whether or not I could find an actual.
Would you? What color would you like it to be?
Well, it appears as translucent in things.
Yeah,
I know. Maybe a yellow.
Oh, I was going with blue.
Oh, maybe blue.
No, yeah, yellow's fine. What meter is it? What meter is it?
Well, I just want to sort of like I don't want to have Billy Bob in it. So slightly smaller than that, just to encase him, basically.
Well, what I will do is that I'll do that. Oh, my thing's going bananas again. And we'll send it to the back like that.
That's fine. Yeah.
Are you happy with that?
I'm very happy.
Yeah. And you what was your drain like?
I resisted it. I resisted 6 drain.
Cool.
There was 4 incoming.
So you sort of like summon this. You call upon the magic and
I've still got my hand outstretched because I'm actually sustaining this.
You're
myself.
sustaining it. Yeah. So you sort of like outstretch, and you, although you can't see it, you sense that the barrier sort of like goes round the gorilla. You do also notice, just out of interest, Studley, that when it touches against the other barrier, you can see where it's touching.
Yeah.
There's a slight sizzle, and yours looks a lot.
So either some type of barrier or protective circle in place.
Yeah, round shaman bark, but you figure that his is more powerful than yours. Okay.
By the way, I do have Billy Bob and Hector as privileges for the barrier.
Meaning
that they can.
They can go in and out. Yeah, cool. Okay, let's change our initiative, guys.
It's on the physical plane, by the way.
But it's just stopping mana, isn't it? It's not stopping anything physical.
Yeah, it's anything that's dual B and.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, Billy Bob, you are up on 12.
So Billy Bob can't actually see this, and he doesn't know it's there. Is that correct?
Correct. You can't see anything in front, but Studley's correct, and you can't see anything at all. There was perhaps a minor shimmer, but that was it.
Okay. Well, then Billy Bob's going to carry on fighting this gorilla, thinking nothing else.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Swing his hand blade. 4 successes.
4 successes. Yeah. So,
sorry. Go on.
Yeah. Is that right?
No, I was going to say I don't know if this barrier is going to stop anything.
No, I know what it says, so don't worry. Okay, so 4, so that's 3 altogether, so that's 12p that I'm soaking, and that's -2. 12. That's 10 P. Excellent, thank you. So you sort of like ram your hand blade in, and it's not stopped by the barrier that you can't see, and it literally slides straight into the shoulder of Tiny, and the gorilla howls in agony as you retract it, and there's sort of like a burst of a fountain of blood that sort of like shoots from its wound. However, it's still up. Hector, you're up.
Oh, excuse me, yawning away. So yeah, Hector's going to run straight in, run past Steady a little bit, and then stop and just be kind of like, as a gorilla, what?
Okay. So this is my turn to fight. This is Tiny's turn to fight back at you. Thing. So it makes another swipe with its claw. And Studley, you notice that your mana barrier is not stopping this gorilla at all. It's definitely not dual being in any sense of the word. This should automatically get these wound penalties on. I think. Yeah, there you go. 3 successes, Mr. Billy Bob. So dodge first.
8 successes.
Yeah, so you sort of like it swipes at you yet again, and you just sort of like manage to duck out the way as it swipes over your head and misses you. And Studley, you can't do anything because you're at -3. And Billy Bob, you have one more attack on 2.
Okay, so yeah, he's after he's like ducked the.
Hang on, it doesn't actually matter, but that roll, Billy Bob,
been at -2.
Yeah, Billy Bob, your roll should have been at -2 because you've already dodged once this round. But it doesn't matter because even if you take 2 successes off, it would still be 6, which means you would still avoid it. So that's not a problem.
Right. Yeah. I forgot about that. Sorry.
Yeah. So it's your attack now.
Yeah. So after he's like ducked under this big claw that's come through, he's gonna come in with an overhand right and nail it with 6.
Oh, is this this is me dodging, isn't it? Oh, that should have been at -2 as well, but it won't matter. Yeah.
Oh.
So so that would be so I need to absorb that. -2, so that's 5 successes. 14, 11. Yeah, you plow this thing in yet again, and this it slides into Tiny, and Tiny just sort of like lets out a final howl, and then sinks to the floor and dies in front of you.
Damn. Billy Bob's going to stand over him, like beating his own chest.
Yeah, cool.
Studley's going to release his mana barrier.
Yeah. Let me get
Hector's going to turn to Studley and go, "I missed a gorilla? What?"
Studley's just going to nod, and then he wants to switch perceptions on into the astral.
Yeah. Do you wish to ascend?
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, I wanted to try to find out the.
Go for it. Roll away.
Yeah, I'm just on the wrong thing.
Yeah, you can see that this gorilla is actually really a gorilla. You don't know. It's not dual natured. It's not summoned or anything. And you can also see that Shaman Bart's sort of like protective globe around him is shimmering out of existence as he sort of like steps out the circle and sort of like stands up, and once he does this, this tiny sort of like runs up and sort of like jumps onto his shoulder and sort of like jumps up, and Bart Smith sort of like goes, "You killed my gorilla."
It would have killed me.
I think it only wanted a hug. I'm sure it came from a hug.
Don't like hugs.
My poor gorilla. Dead.
Studley's going to go over and have a look at it.
It's going to take a while to get that blood out of the carpet.
Is it shag?
No, they stopped having shag pile carpet ages ago. Far too expensive. It's a gorilla. Studley, it's literally a gorilla.
Is it dead? Is it?
Oh, it's well and truly dead. Well and truly dead. I.e., killed all the overflow on it as well.
Okay. Studley's going to go up to Bart, and he's going to push his glasses back onto his nose, and he's going to go, yes, yes, we're sorry about that. As you probably appreciate, we thought the threat was real, and that your gorilla, Tiny, I presume his name was, did mean harm to both yourselves and ourselves. And my colleague there, Mr. Bob, took appropriate action. We can only apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused. I presume your barrier protection was a physical barrier to prevent it getting in?
Yes, he says. It certainly was.
I did try a mana barrier.
Are you magically inclined?
I am indeed. Yes, I am a practitioner of the magical art, but you probably already know that because I did try to banish your impish friend there.
I know. The thing was, he was trying to get in.
He was trying to get in. Yes.
Yeah.
I had assumed that.
Because he was frightened of
once you have a
Tiny. I was trying to let them get to know each other. You know, try to make friends. He sort of like looks over.
It might be a bit late for that now.
He looks at the gorilla, sort of like bleeding out on the floor.
Yeah. Once again, sincere apologies for the mess.
Now tell me, how much apology are you willing to give me?
You have a nice rug.
Well.
And I would like to keep it that way.
I mean the gorilla.
Now I have a gorilla bleeding all over it.
I meant the gorilla.
A gorilla that you pierced and is now bleeding all over my floor.
You have a new rug.
And he's still bleeding.
Maybe we could at some other time come up with some form of compensation.
Compensation is a nice word. I like the word compensation. But until compensation happens, I have a gorilla bleeding on my floor.
Would you like us to take it outside
and put it where?
Well, do you have a garage or something? It's better being on your garage than bleeding on your floor.
Then I will have a bleeding gorilla in my garage. Do you have a car?
I have a very small but highly attractive Dodge Scoot with a small box on the back, suitable for a helmet.
And he looks at you, Billy Bob, and says, do you have a car?
Yes, thanks.
Cool. You can dispose of the gorilla. Now, a second. Can I please ask what you're doing in my house?
Yes.
Saving you.
We've been given your name by a friend of yours who you will either know as Dr. Jekyll, or you may also know him by another name.
Ah, yes, Dr. Jekyll. We go a long way back, Dr. Jekyll and I. Lifelong friends. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we have a luncheon date next Tuesday.
Oh, excellent. Yes. Anyway, Dr. Jekyll has passed on your name in a matter that he thought that you might be able to help us in, one that he himself was finding it very hard to decipher a answer to. The matter involves a sample of blood.
That's unlike Mr. Jekyll.
Well, not being able to ascertain the fault, or
Well,
sending us.
he's somewhat of an expert with blood.
He seemed to think that the blood in question was being altered in some way, probably via magical means, maybe even something to do with ritual sorcery, which I might like to point out is not my forte.
He wants me to do a ritual.
Yeah,
I see.
yes.
Right. Well, I think I can do that for the correct sort of support.
I am quite happy to provide magical assistance if I am able.
He looks at he sort of like gets a bit closer to you and says, "I meant credits."
Well, I was actually wondering whether or not we maybe could come to some other form of arrangement rather than the exchange of credits.
He stops you and says, "I'm sorry, old man. I'm not interested in something like that. Credits will do fine."
And how many credits are we?
Oh, yes. This is the bit of the excitement bit, isn't it? This is when we get down to bargaining. Oh, give me a number. Let's start from there.
Can you give me? Can you give us a few minutes so we can discuss available funds?
Yes, and please don't leave the gorilla there too long. I'm a bit worried that it might start to smell.
We will we'll take you to the car whilst we discuss funds.
We will.
So we'll
probably a good
start
idea.
taking it out to the.
It probably won't go in the boot. You'll have to put it on the back seat.
Billy Bob's thinking he's just going to stick it in a privet next to his house.
Do you wish to do that?
Is there any like big bushes around?
No, just what you see on the map.
All right.
If you remember, it's a detached house, so it's quite sort of like detached out the way. But I mean, if you wish to just chuck it somewhere, then that is purely an option for you.
Hector's going to suggest to Studley and Billy Bob said we could bury it in his back garden. I mean, I don't know anything about magic, but I would have thought a ritual would take a long time, so we've got time to bury it. Saves staining Rusty Rosie, Billy Bob.
Billy Bob's going to groan again.
I was thinking more of the cleaning of Rusty Rosie is just a matter of some detergent and a couple of cloths and some elbow grease. Keeping Mr. Smith online, especially for this ritual sorcery, which is our only lead, which we currently have in this investigation, would be more important. Plus, there is also then the chance that we could actually sell on the ape for some money. I would have thought ape fur would be probably pretty valuable and maybe recuperate some of the losses that we are going to have for this job.
So I could just imagine the phone call to your fixer. Excuse me, what's the going rate on the gorillas?
At which point Hector will go shrug and go, gorilla burgers, anyone? It beats soy meat.
That is also an option, is to dispose of the meat to, how shall we say, dubious takeaways.
Billy Bob's got a big toothless grin going on. Toothless? Toothy grin. Tusks and all.
So anyway, we're going to whilst we have, this is after we've actually taken the gorilla outside, and it's by the back seat of Rusty Rosie when we're deciding what to.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, well, but then once that's done, has anybody got any things about not sticking it in the car?
No. Hector will look in or turn to will turn to Billy Bob and go, have you got a blanket in the boot of the car? You could stick over the top.
Billy Bob's going to shake his head no.
Never mind then.
Okay.
So is the gorilla going in the back of the car?
It won't fit. You said it won't fit.
No, I said it won't go in the
boot of the car.
I said it would have to go on the back seat. It won't go in the boot. It'll have to lay across the back seats. That's where it's going if it's going in the car.
It's going to have to go on the roof.
You want to put it on the roof?
It's going to have to go on the roof.
Okay, then. You can put it on the roof. I presume you have some kind of rope or something to attach it to the roof, yeah?
But he hasn't, no, but Billy Bob's going to ask...
Well, you probably have something like that in the boot of the car, so you can probably strap a gorilla on the roof. I'm quite happy for that.
So he'd do that then?
Yeah, cool.
Shut the gorilla on the roof.
So Rusty Rosie now has a bleeding gorilla strapped onto its roof. Excellent. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Hector's going to say that to Billy Bob and Stucky that he has some credits, but perhaps we should offer a lower sum and see what is bid against it.
Dudley's going to go, well, my current funds which are available, not taking into account this job, which we are waiting to get paid for, is a negative figure of 1,520 credits. That is after my latest medical and living expenses. So as you can probably tell by that, I have no funds at all available to contribute to this ritual sorcery.
I have a gorilla on the roof.
I don't think you need to worry about that, Mr. Bob, because as soon as you drive out of here with a gorilla strapped to the roof, you will be arrested and thrown into jail. But in the meantime, do you have any credits at all that you can maybe contribute towards the ritual sorcery? I shall take your answer as a no.
Hector says he does have some. Hector says he's got a few thousand, but he doesn't really want to spend too much if he can get away with it. So he's going to go.
I will allow you to conduct a negotiation into how much the ritual sorcery will cost. After all, it is your money that you are playing with.
Hector's just going to shrug.
We will, of course, do our utmost to reimburse you our share once the job is completed.
Hector will nod and say thank you for that, and then he will head back in to talk to the shaman.
Yeah, go for it.
Studley's going to go in as well.
Yeah, I presume that you're all back in now, just leaving the gorilla on top of the car.
So yeah, Hector will go up and say, I was thinking 800 credits for the ritual. Would that be amenable to you?
Bart sorry, looks at you and sort of says, "Do you know how much ritual materials cost?"
I would have thought they'd cost a bit, but
yes,
not that much.
A bit more than 800, I would hasten to add.
But
Let me give you a starting figure. Shall we say 5k?
Hector's face is just going. Hector's face is just going to go. Muh?
As a heart attack.
Hector will say, how about 2.5k?
Oh, I see you still wish to stab me with the virtual dagger of coinage. Let's say 6k.
Hector's going to go 3k, and I will happily clean up Billy Bob's mess, and you can have my comlink number for a future job, or help you out for anything in the future.
5k, you clean up the mess, and you owe me a favour.
3.5k, clean up the mess, favour, and yeah.
You need to put something else on.
Hector will also say, and we'll look into finding you a new pet.
Oh,
Studley's going to step forward and he's going to say, there is something else that we do need to put into the equation. The blood sample which you are performing the ritual sorcery on does cause the person who is infected with the blood to slowly start to decompose at a very fast rate. Unfortunately, your good friend, Dr. Jekyll, has been infected with said blood virus and will probably not make your meeting on Tuesday, dinner was it, unless we actually get this done. So maybe we could speed up the negotiation and get it done and maybe save a few people's lives.
That is a great shame, since he was due to pay for lunch. I will take your offer of 3,500. You clear up the mess, you do me a favour, and you find me a new pet. He hands out, he sort of like unclicks something off his comlink and sort of like hands it out as if it's ready for a certified cred stick, or if you haven't got that, then he just expect to have your bank details so you could transfer the money to him.
Hector will pass over his silver cred stick and swipe it against it, giving the confirmed amount of 3,500.
Yeah,
credits.
Cred sticks it's only the size of something like a thumbnail, so it's all like it goes in and it deducts 3,500 things. 3.5 pet favour
animal
plus blood. Okay, and he sort of like he grins for a while, and he goes off into the kitchen, which you can probably see up at the top here. And he comes back. He comes back, Hector, and he gives you a mop and a bucket of what appears to be hot, salty, soapy water. And he holds his hand out to you, Studley, and says, "Sample."
Hector will take them and then immediately turn to Billy Bob and go, "You made it. You clean it up."
Studley will take the blood sample, the ID #456.
Yeah.
And Billy Bob's just going to stare at Hector and to say,
Hector.
Has the shaman got the blood sample out then? Yeah.
Yeah. Can Studley watch what he's doing?
Yeah, by all means. Well, he's not going anywhere. He
Okay,
sort of
fine
like hobbles over to his what appears to be a ritualistic circle on his floor, and he sort of like holds on to it, and just a quick look on the astral plane. You notice that there appears to be some kind of mana barrier, as well as a physical barrier forming over it, almost like a medicine lodge coming over and sort of like doming over the top of him. And you see him sat there, and his little imp sat on his shoulder, and he's sort of like he's holding the test tube in his hands, and has his eyes closed, and then he opens his eyes, and he looks over at the blood on the floor.
Hector's going to shrug, start cleaning it, but go to Billy Bob and say, "Fine, but you're ringing Charlie to ask about pets."
Okay, so you're Hector. He's sort of like busy mopping
With his marigolds.
The carpet, and you notice that the shaman sort of like closes his eyes again, and on the astral plane, Studley, you notice that around the dome, it's sort of like it's almost like a field covers, and then it sort of like formulates, and then it sort of like starts shooting out, as if it's sort of like a hand almost like leaving the dome, and it goes straight up out of the ceiling and out of the apartment, the building, and he just sort of like sits there with his eyes shut, humming gently to himself. And you notice that the little imp is sat on his shoulder, exactly sat cross-legged, exactly the same as the shaman is, holding his hands almost like round an imaginary test tube, humming as well, and sort of like echoing the shaman's sounds, although about 8 octaves higher than the shaman. So Hector sort of like does the cleaning up, and sort of like after several buckets full of hot soapy water, he actually manages to clean the carpet, so it's looking quite nice. It's not perfect, but you know, it's a lot better than what it was. And after about an hour or so, Shaman Bart comes out of his trance, and he sort of like opens his eyes, and you notice that his face is somewhat drained, and he seems to have put a whole load of energy into it. And as he comes back to the human world, the physical plane, his face looks somewhat worried and somewhat perturbed, and he sort of like comes out of his little ritual circle, and as he comes out on the astral plane, Studley, you see it just shimmer down and disappear, and he sort of like looks at you all, and he says, "Interesting, very interesting."
That's what Dr. Jekyll said.
Have you been able to ascertain anything from the sample? Mr. Smith?
Yes, I have. Something very interesting and somewhat worrying. It would appear that somebody is masking one end of this sample, almost like protecting it against detection. Initially, it was quite easy to trace and to one location. And then after that, it was, shall we say, very difficult to trace. Very difficult indeed. As if somebody was pinging back the forces that I was trying to use. There's something quite powerful protecting the origins of this sample.
Maybe you could tell us where the initial location was, and we could maybe investigate it from there.
Yeah, he pings a location to all your comm units that appears to be a warehouse near the downtown south side, right there on the docks. And it's very similar to the place, if you remember, where you found the guy in the pod. It's sort of a similar area, but a little bit further down from that. It's in the similar sort of like proximity of that. And he says, this is where I lost it. It seems to be coming from here.
Would you say the your ritual and what's masked, obviously by a magical means, were you able to ascertain exactly how powerful the being was who was?
I will always say, more powerful than me.
Ah, right.
But as you know, fellow shaman, mage, it is not wise to probe somebody else's mana barrier.
Oh no, you should never probe somebody else. No. Whilst we were in communication with Dr. Jekyll, he did mention that you used to work for a company called Medical Recreations. Are they? What type of work did they used to do, if you don't mind me asking?
He says, I've never worked for Medical Recreation. Old Mr. Jekyll, he's got his facts wrong again.
Ah. I'm sure he did say that you worked for them. It's obviously my mistake.
Can I just say, young cowboy, you have done a splendid work with the carpet. I'm impressed by your cleaning skills. And I have your comlink for the favour. And I will be in touch with you shortly about my new pet. I'm thinking something quite exotic.
Hamster?
Maybe a rhino.
We will look into that for you.
I will let you know. Maybe
Thank you.
an elephant.
What time of day is it?
It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay. How far away is Studley's going to say goodbye to?
Okay, so whereabouts are you heading, guys? Whereabouts are you off to?
Well, I was just wondered how far away it is from Bart's to where the
It's about
to the dock.
It's about and because you remember you're not actually in Southside at the moment. You drove out across the river, so you're probably about another hour and a half to drive back into Southside, and then probably another half hour or so, maybe 45 minutes to actually reach the dock area.
Okay.
So Hector's also going to send a subvocal communication to Studley and go, can I hitch a lift? to wherever you're happy to drop me off. I don't fancy getting in a
Studley's
car.
going to send a message back apologising, but his Dodge Scoot is only big enough for one person, and he's going to be spending a night in jail.
To which point Hector's just going to go, I'm going to get a taxi.
Taxi. Can Studley get in communication with Athena and see whether or not she's able to do a surveillance of the area in question where we're supposed to be going?
Yeah, you probably have to get back into Southside because you're quite
Right, okay, so
away from her.
we're going to head to Southside. We'll head. We'll arrange to meet up at Sally Sidewider's where we can discuss.
Okay, then. So I take it, Studley, you're taking your Dodge scooter.
Yeah.
Hector, what are you doing? And what's Billy Bob doing?
It depends. If Billy Bob's happy to change put the grill in the back seat, he'll grudgingly get in there.
Drive it. He's just going to drive it. He doesn't know better. He's just going to drive it.
If he's just going to drive it, Hector will say that's going to call. He's going to say to Billy Bob, "I don't think that's a good idea. We should try and put it in the back seat or dump it as soon as possible. If we're going to dump it, because we will get stopped by law enforcement."
Let's dump it.
Hector's going to ask Athena very quickly if there's any sort of like secluded areas where we could dump the ape's body where we are.
Well, your easiest place to dump it will be to dump it in the Thames as you come across.
But how long is it going to take to get to the Thames?
Well, it's
at
about
2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's about an hour and a half drive to Southside, and if you remember, the Thames is just on the bridges, so it's going to take about an hour to sort of like get driven down there. So
we're going to get stopped by the law enforcement way before then.
Maybe
this is what Hector's thinking. Probably.
Can leave it at his house.
Is there somewhere where we could dump it more locally?
Well, you're in an area that sort of like has detached houses, so it's not sort of like, it's not actually equivalent to Southside even. I mean, detached houses normally means that it's quite upmarket. I mean, you could dump it anywhere. Essentially, yeah. I mean, you could just dump it on the street, but whether or not that would be a good place to dump it, and whether or not you're not seen by CCTV cameras on houses or something like that is beside the point.
And whether or not the
couldn't Studley mask it?
Are you going to ask him that?
Billy Bob doesn't. He's not gonna. I don't think he's smart enough to know that he does the masking thing.
Hector's going to say to Billy Bob, should we just bury it? If we're going to dump it, we're not going to get any money from it. Should we just ask Bart if he wants us to bury it in his garden?
Yeah.
So yeah, Hector's
Bart doesn't want you to bury it in his garden. He just wants you to remove it from his property. He doesn't want a dead gorilla. Believe me. And I
don't think anyone wants a dead gorilla.
I thought there was some talk about gorilla burgers.
Hector's going to quite strongly insist to Billy Bob that we put it in the back of the car.
Then Billy Bob's going to just and rip it off, take it off the roof, and you clean car.
Hector's just going to sigh. He's going to get hit. He's going to go, I know, I'm going to have to put the marigolds on. And so, yeah, he's going to go, fine, I'll clean it.
Can you put marigolds on because they're plastic?
They're rubber, aren't they? I don't know. And then Hector, so we'll do that. We'll put it in the back of the car. And then we'll, as soon as we get into comm range, Hector will want to either call or leave a message with Charlie to ask first of all ask if there's anyone who'd be interested, that he knows of, that'd be interested in a dead gorilla. Is there anyone who could sell it, like taxidermists or anyone like that? And then the second question is there how does he know of getting does he know anyone who sells exotic pets?
Okay then. So yeah, those messages. So is the plan to keep it into the car until a buyer is bought for this gorilla? Is that the idea?
Only if it's very quick. If it's not a quick turnaround, we're going to dump it, I think.
Yeah. Well,
It's not going to be a quick turnaround.
No.
Dump it in the Thames. Let's get on with trying to work out what's happening.
Forget the first question, and then we'll dump it. And then Hector wants to ask the second question, which is, does he know of any exotic pet dealers? Yeah.
So you can leave that with with your contact, and then as you drive over into Southside, you stop near a nearby bridge, and you chuck this gorilla over the side of a bridge, and it sort of like falls down into the water and sort of like makes this a humongous splash, and then just sort of like floats down the river. And Billy Bob, you look in the back of your car, and there's this sort of like a mat of blood and fur and a bit of gorilla snot, as it's sort of like it's dribbled and thing. Probably not the best place to sit for a while. Okay, whereabouts are you meeting up, did you say?
We're going to meet back up at Sally Sidewinders.
Sally Sidewinders. Excellent, cool. So, so you can head over there and you can get some beers in, and go for it.
Okay, so Studley wants to contact Athena.
Yeah.
And he wants to fill her in on what's happened in the latest part of the adventure, the latest scenario, and explain that we're going to be doing a reconnaissance on a building on the dockside, and ask whether or not she could do a long range sweep using a drone, so that we can have a basic layout of where the place is. Telling her not to get too close because there's magical protection, so there's probably going to be electronic surveillance in operation at the same time. But if she could give us a general idea on the building, entrances and exits, and any surrounding buildings, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, by all means, she can get on with that. Is there anything else you would like to do? That's going to take her quite a while.
Did she get any information about the other things that she was looking up? She was checking about the body to see whether or not.
Remind me, sir.
She was doing searches on the person that was in Ida's.
To see whether
Matthew
or not
Jenkins.
To see, to see
whether or not we could find out any more information, whereabouts he hangs out, whereabouts he was found.
And she's literally coming up with zilch, almost as if that person never existed.
Okay, that's fine. So whilst we're waiting for Athena to get back in touch with us with the layout, Studley's going to use that time to go home and check on his mom, make sure that she's okay.
Yeah.
And then when he's at home, he wants to and once he's finished seeing to his mom, he wants to go and do an astral surveillance of the building in question where we're going to.
Cool.
Hector, will also like to get in contact with one of his contacts, Tasha, in city planning, to see if he can get, see if he can ask her to get any of the actual plans of the building and the neighbouring buildings and that sort of thing.
Right, hang on. Let me just organise this then. That's that. Okay. I just need to.
And he also wants to see, as part of that, who filed the plans, if it was this company that we're after, and if there's any leaseholders, current leaseholders, and that sort of thing. From her, see if she could answer that.
Yeah.
It's a secondary thing.
What? You're asking a rather lot from this contact at the present moment in time.
Well, the first one definitely the plans for the actual
you're asking
warehouse that we're going to.
And then you're asking her for information. How much are you keeping her loyalty up? Have you been contributing to her at all? Just out of interest, since, have you been taking her out for a meal? Have you, or you're just expecting this,
I hadn't realised that we had to do that. That wasn't something.
Well, she's your contact, isn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, are you sort of like
I didn't know
thinking,
how contacts worked and that sort of thing.
No, but just from a role playing point of view, are you sort of like keeping in touch with her? Or I remember I remember last time you contacted her for sort of like translocation stuff. And is it just sort of like
each time he contacts her, he would take her out for a meal afterwards, a day or so afterwards.
Oh, cool.
Sort of thing, as a bare minimum.
Yeah.
So
your money will be slowly paying her off in order to do that. Yeah. So
he might take her to see a Trid film or something. Or a meal.
Okay. So we can check that. So just to let you know, she sends you. She's rather abrupt with you on the phone, and she's sort of like she doesn't seem to have much time for you when you actually called, and she sends you a plan like this.
Okay.
And she sort of like says that it's been abandoned. There's no current owner of it. It's actually derelict and ready to be sort of like demolished. And when she sort of like signs off as if she's a bit cross. You're not too sure why she's cross with you, but she doesn't seem to be happy about something. So it might be something to invest in some time on downtime. Yeah. Studley, you head off to the actual location astrally. So whereabouts are you being based, Studley?
He's doing this when he's back home after he's sorted out his mum, and then he's going to.
Okay then. Yeah. So and when you get there, this is where you end up. Can you see yourself? Sorry.
No, all I have is a black square.
Yeah, just 1 second.
It's purgatory.
Can you see your character?
No, can't see anything. I just have a black square.
I can see Studley.
I just got a black square as well.
Some lights.
Just zoom.
A red thing with a 2 on it. And
just zoom out a bit, Studley.
I'm zoomed right the way out. I basically just have a black square.
I know why. Hang on, just 1 second. I know why.
Yeah, right. I have it now.
Yeah.
Nope,
this is where you are.
Yeah, we don't need to see it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was trying to replicate, but I got it slightly wrong.
So, I mean, as far as his astral...
You can move, by the way.
All right. Well, as far as his astral perception is going, his main thing that he wants to do to begin with is to sort of like wait on a sort of like a higher building and just monitor it for a while to see whether or not he can see any movement of astral.
Yeah, no, there appears. Just roll a sensing roll. Yeah, you don't see any, and you don't sense any sort of like astral perception. You don't perceive any astral barriers or spirits or anything like that at all.
And there's no people going in and out of the.
Not you. I mean, you've
with,
only
with
just
cyberware or anything like that. Though,
no. I
can
mean,
see
you've
a
literally just
variation in
arrived
auras.
at the moment. So, I mean, how
Right.
long do you want to sort of like hang around at this sort of like distance?
He wants to monitor it for probably an hour.
Okay, so what's your time that you can actually spend in astral?
I think it's willpower divided by something, isn't it? Let me check.
This
I
one,
thought it was something magic rating, but I can't remember now.
magic rating times 2.
Okay, so
Number
hours.
of hours equal to your magic rating times
Okay, so
2.
12 hours.
12 hours. So currently, let's just currently it's what 3. It's about 3:45. Okay,
Right,
so you
so
actually want
5
to
o'clock.
3:45 you arrive, so 5 o'clock. Yeah, there seems to be no activity at all, nothing at all.
Okay. And there's no sign of a barrier.
There's no mana barrier or anything like that now.
Okay, so he's going to go back to his body, which of course is instantaneous, and he's going to.
This is how instantaneous it is.
Ping.
There you
Look at
go.
that. And then once he's seen that his mom's okay, he's going to head off to back off to
Sally
Sally
Sidewinders.
Sidewinders.
Yeah, cool. So you'll meet there about 5:30, 4:45-ish.
Can I just say, while all that was going on,
Yeah.
Billy Bob wants to go home and redo his ammo. He wants to go back to the shock ammo.
Yeah.
So he's going to take all the live ammo out of his weapon and reinstall the shock.
Yeah. Now I think I was checking this up on your couch sheet because we had some issues last time, didn't we? So I think what it is that your Beretta fires gel rounds.
That's why I meant the gel rounds.
Yeah, your Ruger, which is like
Super Warhawk.
Yeah, which is not actually down on your character.
Yeah, that got taken, didn't it?
Yeah, well, that used to do the high explosives. So your gel round, your Beretta constantly just fires gel rounds. So the issue was, can you see on your front sheet?
Yeah.
Don't press the dice button next to the Beretta. Press the dice button next to the 21. Can you see where it says gel rounds 21?
I did that.
Yeah. Well, if I press that, it should come up. See, it comes up as stun.
But if you press the other one,
but if you press the one next to the Beretta, it comes up as physical.
Maybe that's why I did.
Yeah. So
because it automatically takes into account a Beretta does physical damage on regular ammo, which is what it takes into account.
Yeah. So the first dice is just for single shot. The second dice on the gel round one is for burst fire.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what I did. Oh, gel ammo.
Well, I'm pretty sure that you didn't press that button because it shouldn't have come up with stun. If you press that button, it would have come up as stun.
No, I get that.
The
But
other one.
I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure when I did it, I did press that button, but obviously I didn't. So
No, yeah, okay.
That's true. Hector, whilst he would have got the car back with Billy Bob, and will do the same. So he'll pick up and refill his ammo as per my character sheet or his character sheet.
Yeah, cool.
He'll also strip down and clean
Billy
both
Bob's
his
car.
No, he'll strip down and clean his both his Omni pistols, his tasers. Make sure they're nice and clean and squeaky. He'll then also try and book a reservation for a fairly posh restaurant as well for 2 people.
Yeah, cool.
And then, if there's time, he will then go onto the internet and try and find some rather good cleaner for the car as well.
Yeah, you can get it valid. There's no issue about that. Let's see, what would a good valet service cost?
Probably 2-3 credits.
Yeah, you can get them about 20-30 quid now. So
50 quid for a good one.
Yeah,
I think 50 quid is probably what you want, because then that stop you any questions being asked that you've got a whole load of blood in the back.
Yeah. So then
that'd probably cost 100 though, really.
Yeah. 50 for the car to be cleaned and 50 to keep your mouth shut.
That's it, yeah.
Thank you, Big.
Well, don't forget,
I'm gonna talk your prices up next.
Don't forget, it's not Big's car. It's the team's car anyway. So
it is the team's car anyway. So yeah, Hector will also organise that.
Yeah, cool.
How much would that be?
Yeah, so that's 100 credits.
100 credits.
We'll do the posh restaurant at a different time.
Cool, thank you.
Studley's plan is to wait until at least until it's dark before heading out towards this warehouse.
I think you're at Sally Sandwinders now, aren't you?
We're at Sally Sandwinders now, yeah.
Yeah, so you can talk and formulate a battle plan.
Yeah, right. So what do you reckon?
First of all, Hector will share the plans that he's managed to get very kindly from his contact with the party, including Athena. So they've all got the same plans to work from.
Okay, so what's the plan? Can you bring those up in Wills, or are you munching something?
Yeah.
Now let me zoom out a bit.
Is this the main entrance?
So I can't see where you're pinging. It looks like it.
Okay.
I mean, obviously the plans doesn't contain the
Right.
So it's based right. Okay, yeah, okay.
So it's room sizes, doors, windows, that sort of thing.
The upstairs, is that all the same? The upstairs, downstairs.
Yeah, according to the plans that you've got, that's it. So these rooms 1 and 2 are upstairs.
These two.
Yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
yeah.
Is this room downstairs then?
No, upstairs.
No, that's upstairs.
Right, okay.
So this is downstairs and this is downstairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did Athena do a distant flyby with her drones? Has that finished yet, or?
She hasn't reported back yet.
Okay.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, we haven't got really anything to go on.
Not yet.
I think what we're just going to have to do is just going to have to go in as quietly as we can and look for the next clue, to be honest with you.
Hector says he's quite happy to go in and to do a break in and do a stealth job on it. If that's what's required. Saying things like he can go in an upstairs window rather than the downstairs, work his way down, that sort of thing.
You said there was no one. Hold on. You said no one went in or out.
On the astral?
Yeah.
No, but then again, I wasn't observing it for long, so...
Okay.
I don't think you can go in anyway, Hector, because if there's a barrier up inside, you're going to break it straight away, aren't you?
Yeah.
What kind of barrier? It depends what kind of barrier it is.
Hector knows nothing about that. Hector doesn't know very much about that.
Yeah,
if anything at all. So
if he went through a mana barrier, then anything that he has up and running, as as a power, would have to resist going through the barrier, or it would be removed. It would be taken down. So, but he can then put it back up again, and then it depends whether or not who's put the mana barrier up. For example, if the person who's put it up is still around, then they will know that somebody's gone through it.
The thing, if anything was to happen to you whilst you were in there, then it would be you again. If there's two people in there, it will be you against the two people.
And Hector says, and that's where I could call for backup. And then he looks at Billy Bob.
No. Billy Bob's going to turn around and say, I go in.
Hector will just shrug and say, okay.
Right, we're going to wait until it's dark, and then we're going to make our way to the area where this warehouse is, and then we're going to look at the situation there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and we'll also wait for Athena's report as well.
Well, we could be waiting forever for that. So,
okay, so I'm going to put you onto the map, and I'm going to put you on in a strange place. Okay, but I just want to make sure that you've all got light when you actually arrive. You all got light.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was looking at this. Yeah.
Yeah. So this white thing is like a wired fence. Okay, it's like a wired fence. These top things look like they were once spotlights, but most of the glass has been shot out of them, or people have thrown rocks at it, and sort of like shattered it. There is an entrance. I'm going to ping it, so make sure here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's not closed or anything. It looks like it was some kind of wire gateway at one point. But again, it is being picked off, etc., etc. You can see that the black things in front of you are buildings. They only seem to be 1 story high. And you can see that, you can probably see from where you are, there's a variety of them. Athena's plan comes back, which actually reflects this. And if you zoom down, right the way down at the bottom, she can tell you that there's actually, it looks like a helicopter pad down at the bottom of the map. You probably can't see it at the moment, but she's just relating it to you in the sense that it looks like there's some big crates that almost like cargo crates, and down at the bottom of the map, right the way up against the the water's edge is like a huge heliport pad or something similar, as if something quite big can land on it. Probably you figure maybe a VTOL can actually land on that, or
do we know which side the water edge is? Is it this side of the...
Hang on. Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
So it's directly south from where you are.
I'm sorry, did you say if... I'm just going to ping them now. Did you say if those were walls or a fence? I can't remember.
They're fences all the way around.
Fences.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're sort of like they're broken in various places. Doesn't look very secure at all.
So the actual buildings that we can see, is there any... Are all the windows boarded up? Any doors visible?
They have no
light.
They have no windows.
Okay.
You can see various doors, and for example, there's actually a door here.
Okay.
Okay, and I've left on. Can you see this little bit here?
Yeah.
Is that like a door open?
Yeah, so I've left those on so you can see where the doors are. Okay, so you know that there's a door there. I'll show the other doors as you go around. And the doors don't look that secure on this back building at all. They look quite... it looks as if somebody's left it a long time ago. And it looks quite deserted.
Okay. You said there was holes in the fences.
Yeah.
Are they big enough for various metahumans to...
Oh yeah, it looks like this has probably been used as a fire range or mucking about range, probably by the local youths, etc.
Okay.
Studley's going to start to perceive astrally, and he's going to keep that going. And take the negative dice modifiers for everything.
So make a roll now, and then I'll use those successes throughout until you switch it off. Four successes, brilliant, thank you.
So he's when he's moving about, he's looking for anything like an astral signature, any spells, spirits, anything like that he can.
Yeah, cool.
That he can pick up. And then once he's holding that, he's going to head down towards the main entrance.
Right. Okay. Then. Yeah. You won't be able to go. Is that the idea that you're going through that entrance? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what's Hector doing and what's Billy Bob doing? As Studley heads down to the entrance.
Hector will probably duck through if there's a gap big enough for him. Pretty much where he is, he's going to duck through that and head towards the corner of the nearest building.
Just show me which corner you want to go to.
He wants to sort of like head to that corner.
Yeah, by all means, you can move yourself there.
Is the hole big enough for Billy Bob to fit through as well? Or...
Yeah, you can make it bigger. You're quite tough.
Then yeah, that's what he's going to do. He wants to get to that door, or the back, at least the back of the door.
Yeah.
Or if there's a window.
There's no windows. There's no windows in the. I'll tell you when you come across. There's no windows in this back building at all, so you can move yourself to where you would like to be.
Right. So he wants to get to at least the back of this door. He wants to clear this area out.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so it's just gone 8:30, guys. So we'll take our break there. So we'll have a quick 10-minute break. So if you're watching the stream, then thank you for coming along. We will be back in 10 minutes. So please go away and get yourself a drink and get yourself, have a bio break. And I'll leave you with some Christmas music and I will be back in 10.